Right now, all around you, an invisible conversation is happening. A dolphin just called her friend by name. A tree warned its neighbors about an approaching threat. A hive of bees held a democratic vote to decide their future. You can't hear it. You can't see it. But science is finally pulling back the curtain on the most fascinating secret of nature, the hidden world of animal communication. What we've discovered will completely change how you see the natural world. From plants that scream in pain to elephants that gossip about absent friends, today we're revealing the shocking truth about how animals really communicate. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at nature the same way again. Let's start with what might be the most shocking discovery of all. Plants can talk, and not just in some metaphorical sense. When under attack by hungry insects, plants release ultrasonic distress calls that we can't hear, but other plants can detect. Israeli scientists made this incredible discovery when they placed microphones near tomato and tobacco plants. What they recorded was astonishing. The plants were emitting high-frequency screams at around 20 kilohertz when their leaves were being damaged. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. These distress calls aren't just random noise. Nearby plants that detect these ultrasonic screams immediately begin producing defensive chemicals to protect themselves. It's an early warning system that puts human emergency alerts to shame. Some plants can even identify what kind of predator is attacking based on the pattern of the vibrations in the leaves. Caterpillar munching? They'll produce one set of toxins. Fungus invading? They'll deploy a completely different defense. And plants don't just communicate through sound. They also use chemical signals sent through the air, and even underground fungal networks that scientists have nicknamed the Wood Wide Web. Through these networks, trees can share nutrients with their offspring, warn neighbors about insect attacks, and even sabotage rival plants. This is communication on a level we're only beginning to understand. Now let's look at one of the most sophisticated communication systems in nature. The honeybee democracy. When a hive needs to find a new home, they don't just follow the queen blindly. They hold what amounts to a democratic election, complete with debate, persuasion, and even political conflict. Here's how it works. Scout bees go out searching for potential new hive locations. When they return, they perform what's called a waggle dance to communicate the location and quality of the site they found. The better the location, the more vigorous and longer-lasting the dance. Other bees will then go inspect these sites themselves, and if they agree it's a good location, they'll join in the dancing for that site. But this is where it gets really interesting. The bees don't just passively watch these dances, they actively debate. If scouts disagree about which site is best, they'll actually headbutt rival dancers to disrupt their competing messages. It's kind of like political candidates interrupting each other's speeches. Eventually, when enough bees are dancing for one particular site, usually when about 80% of the scouts agree, the decision is made, and the entire swarm takes off for their new home. What's truly remarkable is just how effective this system is. Studies show bee colonies choose the best possible site about 90% of the time. They weigh factors like cavity size, entrance height, and sun exposure, all communicated through these intricate dances. It's honestly a level of collective decision-making that puts many human governments to shame. Moving to the ocean, we find one of the most sophisticated communication systems outside of humans: dolphin language. We've long known dolphins are intelligent, but recent research has revealed something astonishing. Dolphins actually give themselves names. So, here's how it works. Each dolphin develops a unique, signature whistle as a calf. Basically, it's like a vocal name that identifies them. And these aren't just random sounds, by the way. Researchers have found they actually follow linguistic patterns pretty similar to human names. Dolphins use these signature whistles to call out to specific individuals, almost like dialing someone's phone number. It's really fascinating. But the sophistication doesn't stop there. Dolphins can remember these names for decades. In one study, researchers played recordings of signature whistles from dolphins that had been separated for over 20 years. The dolphins immediately recognized these names and responded excitedly, showing they maintained these social connections across decades and vast distances. Pretty amazing, right? Dolphin communication actually goes far beyond just names. They have distinct whistles for different types of fish when they're hunting cooperatively, and they can coordinate these really complex group hunting strategies that require precise timing and role assignment. Some researchers even believe dolphins might have something kind of like grammar in their vocalizations, which could let them convey surprisingly complex information. It's just incredible. On the African savanna, another complex communication system operates at frequencies too low for human ears. Elephants communicate using infrasound. These deep rumbles can travel up to 6 miles through the ground. These low-frequency calls allow separated herd members to, stay in contact across vast distances. But recent research has revealed something even more fascinating. Elephants don't just communicate basic information. They actually engage in what can only be called gossip. Scientists have observed elephants mimicking the calls of absent herd members, essentially talking about other elephants when they're not around. In one remarkable case, researchers watched as a matriarch made a specific rumble that perfectly imitated another herd member's call, causing the entire group to, suddenly change direction toward where that elephant had last been seen. Elephants also appear to use these calls to deceive. Researchers have documented cases where a subordinate male made mating calls in the voice of a more dominant bull, presumably to avoid confrontation while still attracting females. This kind of vocal deception shows a level of social intelligence we're honestly only beginning to understand. Not all animal communication is cooperative or friendly. In fact, some of the most fascinating examples involve deception, manipulation, and even what we might call psychological warfare. Take crows, for example. These intelligent birds not only recognize individual human faces, but they teach their offspring who to trust and who to avoid. A researcher who once captured and banded crows found that years later, new crows in the area would scold him on sight, meaning the information about this dangerous human had been passed down through generations. Octopuses have been observed throwing shells at annoying neighbors in what appears to be deliberate targeting. Chimpanzees routinely deceive each other, pretending not to have found food so they can eat it alone later. In one documented case, a chimp who discovered hidden fruit gave alarm calls warning of a non-existent predator, causing his troop to flee while he stayed behind to enjoy the food. Perhaps most chilling is the communication between parasites and their hosts. There's a species of fungus that infects ants, then chemically hijacks their nervous systems to force them to climb to a specific height before killing them, all to better spread the fungal spores. This isn't just random mutation, it's precise biological manipulation through chemical communication. What we've seen today is just the tip of the iceberg. Every year, scientists discover new, more incredible ways that animals and even plants communicate. From the ultrasonic screams of stressed vegetation to the complex social networks of dolphins, the natural world is far more talkative than we ever imagined. This raises profound questions. If trees can warn each other of danger, if bees can hold democratic votes, if dolphins have names and elephants gossip, where do we draw the line between human and animal communication? How much of what we consider uniquely human might actually exist throughout nature? If you found this exploration as fascinating as I did, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which of these communication systems surprised you the most? And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to dive deeper into nature's mysteries with us. Next week we're investigating an even more mind-blowing topic: the secret intelligence of slime molds, organisms that can solve mazes, make decisions, and even anticipate events without a brain. Until then, keep listening. You never know what conversations might be happening right under your nose.